Leave everything and get out of this house. I'm taking it, furniture and all." I could hardly believe my ears when my sister-in-law said this. Ever since Noah passed away, she's been acting as if she has the right to do whatever she wants. I've tried to remind her that this was our home, Noah's and mine, but she doesn't seem to care. It felt pointless to resist, so I decided to walk away and leave everything behind, just as she demanded. "Fine, I'll leave." I'm Isabella. Noah was the young CEO who took over his father's major corporation, a company known far and wide, with a large workforce. I started as a secretary right after he took the helm, and we quickly grew close. We supported each other through tough times, and over time, our bond deepened into love. Our relationship became well known within the company, and people admired us for our success. We married 2 years later, and it was the happiest moment of my life. Our marriage has been strong ever since, and now, nearly a decade in, we're planning a special trip for our anniversary. Every day with Noah has been a joy. But there is one ongoing issue. My older brother, Liam, our father drives a cab, and our mother is too frail to work. After high school, Liam got a job and moved out. Skipping college, I managed to attend college thanks to savings from part-time jobs, and later worked as a secretary at Noah's company. I made good money, and either saved it or sent it home. Liam frequently asked for money, and some of what I sent to our parents also ended up in his hands. To avoid conflicts, I never confronted him about it, despite my wishes that our parents would stop giving him money. Growing up, Liam often took things from me, and now, he works a blue-collar job and, according to our parents, is heavily into gambling, horse racing, slot machines, and lotteries. He seems to be into everything. Despite the constant trouble Liam caused, I still gave him money, even after we were married. He sometimes asked Noah for financial help, which I desperately wished he would stop. Every day was a struggle dealing with Liam, but his wife, Harper, was an even bigger headache. Given Noah's position, we lived in a luxury high-rise apartment furnished with high-end items, designed for hosting company associates. We had envisioned it as a future home for our children. After 2 years of preconception care, I finally became pregnant. Frequent hospital visits kept me away from home, but Harper would often be at our place. It was fine if she visited, but she would always leave a mess and treat me like a servant. "Isabella, I'm hungry, get me something. I'm leaving for the hospital soon." She never offered to order delivery or pay for anything. I had to do it all. When I spoke to Liam about it, his response was dismissive. "Just listen to my wife. You have plenty of money. No amount of money could fix the disrespect." I confronted Harper directly, but her response was simply, "You're annoying. Take money from me and go gamble with it." They've been married for over a year now, and for the past 6 months, their behavior has been increasingly overwhelming. Despite talking to Noah about it, and him discussing it with my parents, nothing seemed to change. They wouldn't listen, and I felt a pressing need to resolve this before our baby arrived. I understood that everyone dreams of a luxurious life, but money shouldn't be misused. I wished every day that they'd at least stop gambling with other people's money. The stress from their behavior, combined with my pregnancy, worsened my morning sickness. To cope, I sometimes escaped to help with Noah's company work. Though I could only manage seated tasks like paperwork, it provided a mental break. I never expected things with Harper and Liam to deteriorate further. For our anniversary, Noah and I had plans to dine at a fancy restaurant with a city view. I prepared in advance, looking forward to our 3-day tonight stay at a luxury hotel far away. I was excited, even buying new clothes and getting my hair done for the occasion. I wanted to always be the wife Noah found beautiful, even at 35. As usual, Harper tagged along, enjoying luxury on my dime, but I didn't mind. I meticulously checked our preparations for the next day, making sure nothing was forgotten. Despite the busy schedule, I was excited about our hotel getaway. Time passed, but Noah didn't return, and I received no messages. I assumed he was caught up at work and waited for his call, but it never came. Just as I was about to contact his office, my phone rang with an unknown number. When I answered, a voice said, "Is this Mrs. Noah? Please come to the hospital immediately." The caller was from the hospital, and if they mentioned Noah's name, something serious must have happened. I quickly grabbed essentials, hailed a taxi, and rushed to the hospital. I was led to the surgery waiting area, where a nurse soon called me into the examination room to explain what had happened. The doctor told me Noah had been in a collision with a car that ran a red light. He was critically injured and undergoing surgery. They warned me to brace myself, as his condition was dire. I was in shock, struggling to process the news. The panic set in, and I barely remember the chaos that followed. I prayed desperately outside the operating room. Noah, please stay alive. 4 hours later, the surgery doors opened, and the doctor emerged with a somber expression. We did our best. I'm so sorry. Noah didn't make it. My heart broke, and I cried uncontrollably, my sobs echoing through the dim hospital corridor. Memories of Noah rushed through my mind, and though a nurse tried to comfort me, I hardly noticed. Soon after, my mother-in-law arrived, weeping in my father-in-law's arms. Then, a male doctor approached, holding a bouquet. Are you his wife, Mr. Noah wanted you to have these. Apparently, Noah was conscious when the ambulance arrived, and had asked for the flowers from his car to be given to me before he lost consciousness. The bouquet, slightly damaged from the crash, was still a beautiful bunch of roses. Tucked within was a note. Isabella, thank you for being by my side for 10 years. I'm always grateful. Please take care from now on. Reading the letter, I clutched it tightly and cried even harder. The first night without Noah was unbearable. Sleep eluded me completely. The following morning, I still felt numb, but my mother-in-law reminded me of my pregnancy, so I tried to get some rest. When I woke, I felt a gentle kick from the baby, as if the child was urging me to pull myself together. This baby is ours, Noah's and mine, and it's about to come into the world. I whispered a promise to Noah. I would protect our child and live with strength. I washed my face with cold water, trying to soothe my tear-streaked features. A few days later, after family discussions, we held Noah's funeral. Many came to pay their respects. Family, colleagues, and business partners. Among them, one person stood out inappropriately. Harper, dressed in a flashy party dress, stood out starkly against the sea of mourning attire. Her appearance drew disdainful looks from many, but she seemed completely unfazed. Disturbingly, she even began flirting with some of the business executives, clearly inkling for their money. After the funeral, my mother-in-law convened a family meeting to discuss Noah's life insurance. While she believed I should receive everything, some family members argued it should be divided. Harper and Liam joined the discussion, with Harper suggesting, shouldn't the insurance money go to Liam, the eldest sibling? Her argument seemed self-serving, and she added, Isabella probably has enough savings. She doesn't need it. I was appalled by Harper's audacity and confronted her about her inappropriate attire. Regardless of the situation, neither of you will receive any of the insurance money, and your attire is highly inappropriate for a funeral. As I spoke up, family members shot icy glares at Harper. Sensing the mounting tension, Liam and Harper quickly departed. This was Harper's first interaction with many of our relatives, and her introduction was far from favorable. What's the big deal? She snapped, storming out with a flushed face. I felt a small sense of satisfaction seeing her leave, a rare moment of triumph amid the ongoing exploitation. I hoped she learned that she couldn't always get her way, though I knew that hope might be fleeting. The matter of Noah's insurance would be addressed later, and days passed. After our confrontation at the funeral, Harper vanished. I assumed she was off gambling, and was likely furious with me. A week went by without any sign of her, which felt like a rare moment of peace. One day, I had to visit my mother-in-law's house. After running my errands, I decided to do some shopping before heading home. As I approached my house, I noticed the lights were on. Panic set in, thinking it might be a burglar. I tried to stay calm, turned on my phone's recorder, and attempted to unlock the door, but the key wouldn't feed. After several failed attempts, I rang the doorbell. Harper's voice answered. What are you doing? Open up. She opened the door, glaring at me in casual clothes. It turned out she had changed the locks while I was at my mother-in-law's. She had clearly waited until I left and then made her move. Harper then said something shocking. I'm taking this house with everything in it. Leave everything and go. Her words echoed the demands I heard before. This is Noah's and my house. You should leave. You don't have a husband anymore. The house is too big for you. I'm doing you a favor. I remembered I was recording the conversation. Realizing that resisting would only weaken my position, I decided to back down for now and use the recording later. Fine, I said, and left. I called my mother-in-law, who graciously took me in. I explained everything and played the recording for her. This is just like theft, she said, and you could potentially get compensation for the emotional distress. She advised me to contact the police and a lawyer. The next day, I followed her advice. The lawyer confirmed that it was indeed a case of theft, and that I could seek compensation. I updated my mother-in-law on everything. My parents knew about the situation, but seemed to have resigned themselves to Liam's behavior. The audacity of trying to take a home from a pregnant woman is beyond belief, my mother-in-law said, holding me in a comforting embrace. After a moment, She pulled back and looked at me with deep concern. "Speaking of the insurance money, I truly wanted you to have it. Noah wanted that too." She then handed me an envelope. Inside was a letter in Noah's handwriting. Tears welled up in my eyes as I read his will, a testament to his love and his wishes for me. Given Noah's position as CEO, it was clear he had anticipated the unpredictability of life. The message in the letter was unmistakable. All his insurance money and savings were to go to me and our unborn child. Regarding the company, he acknowledged that I might need to work if he were no longer around. He hoped I would take over as CEO, but with a baby on the way, he also suggested I could take a break and entrust the company to a trusted employee. Though I wasn't immediately sure about running the company, having observed Noah's work closely, I felt it was within my capability. Reading the letter, I felt Noah's presence more strongly than ever and cried for a while. Once I had composed myself, I told my mother-in-law that while I agreed with Noah's wishes regarding the insurance money, I needed time to consider the company. She kindly offered for me to stay with her, and I gratefully accepted. That night, I fell asleep quickly, and the next day, following my mother-in-law's advice, I contacted a lawyer, visited a law firm, and then went to the police station. My online research confirmed that the situation was treated as theft, and the lawyer assured me he would pursue compensation. I completed all the necessary procedures that day and shared the details with my mother-in-law, who had already informed other family members about the recent developments. I also spoke to my parents, who seemed resigned and expressed a desire to distance themselves from Liam. I decided not to involve myself further with them and waited for the police to contact me. A few days later, I received a call from the police. "We're headed to your previous residence now. Is that okay?" I quickly agreed and followed them to Harper's place, waiting in a parked police car nearby. When the police rang the doorbell and knocked, Harper's face went pale upon seeing them. "Sorry, ma'am. We're with the police. You're under arrest for theft." Harper, usually so defiant, was left speechless and visibly shaken. Liam was also arrested as an accomplice, and he looked terrified, a stark contrast to his usual demeanor. Seeing their reactions brought me a sense of relief. Later, the police and my lawyer updated me on the situation. I was able to return home, learning that Liam and Harper had been evicted from their rented apartment due to unpaid bills, which had led them to forcibly take my house, regardless of their reasons. They should have known better. Their lack of remorse was troubling, but I hoped this experience would serve as a wake-up call for them. Of course, they now owed me compensation, and I hoped they would accept this as a form of atonement. Back in my high-rise apartment, I called my mother-in-law. "Hello, mother-in-law. I've decided to take over Noah's company. It's his legacy." "That's wonderful. Noah must be smiling down on us from heaven." I was determined to honor Noah's legacy as CEO. It felt like the right thing to do for him. With renewed purpose, I realized I had forgotten something. I approached a photo of Noah and whispered, "I'm home," with a smile.